What's up, super players? It's your homie C-Rod, and today I'm gonna go pick up my prizing for the first place Broly deck. So you guys are gonna join me on the COVID edition tournament deck profile. I got the Supermobile right here. Look at that. Ooh, that thing's gonna take me to the tournament shop where I'm gonna go get my prizing. So I'll see you guys there in a bit. What's up, super players? It's your homie C-Rod. We just came back from picking up the prizing and check it out. I won with Broly. Not any Broly, starter deck Broly. And set 11 was active in this tournament, and guess what? I beat the meta. I beat Gotenks. I beat Majin Vegeta. I beat Sun Goku, Restanding Energy. I beat all the broken nutty decks out there with ease, except for in the finals. Abel gave me a hard time, which is Steezy saying he gave me a hard time with his Restanding Goku deck, but nonetheless, I made it to first place, and maybe you can too. This is a Patreon exclusive deck, but you know what? Time to showcase it on the Super Player channel. So, Broly, what does he do? This is the starter deck Broly. He has an activate main where you're able to search out for a 1-cost Frieza's army, and in this deck we have a lot of Frieza army cards that are 1 cost, but there's one card that you want to search out in particular, and that card happens to be the Broly Unrealized Ambition. So that card is the ultimate target for this guy's activate main. Then you're able to awaken when your life is at 4 or less, draw 1 card, restand an energy, and flip this guy over. Then he becomes nuts. And the whole point of this deck is you want to awaken ASAP. Ideally turn 2. If you could awaken, you're killing it. So when you awaken, you become Broly Evil Unleashed. He has a permanent which hinders the leader quite a bit, that you cannot have more than 2 battle cards on the field. But now there are unison cards which we will abuse in this deck in order to have that extra body on board to pressure our opponent. Then what makes him nuts is his auto, that if you have 7 cards in the drop area, sparking 7, when he attacks, you could draw cards until you have 6 cards in hand. And that is honestly the whole point of the deck, is to abuse that ability. So what you do is attack with your unison or attack with your battle cards, and then dump your whole hand for a big combo, and then attack with your leader, restand, and just, don't restand, regenerate your entire hand. That right there is bonkers. And honestly, that's pretty much the whole premise of the deck. And an activate main, which makes them pretty darn good, that you're able to choose one of your battle cards, KO it, and then choose one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So that means not only is he drawing regeneration, he's also a board removing leader. This guy's insane. So now let's talk about how you play this deck. So I already have the deck list right here so you guys can see it, but I'm going to be going over every single card with a little brief detail on how I use it with the deck. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys like deck profiles in this fashion. So first things first, let's talk about the card you search out, and you always want to search out, which is the 1-drop Frieza's Army Broly Unrealized Ambition. So the whole point of this card is just to bring him out turn 1 and take 2 lives, because he has an auto that when you play him, you have to take 2 lives. Then he has another auto that when this card is removed from the field, you could take up to 1 or 2 lives, and then you're able to bring out another Broly. But we do not want that ability. We only want the ability to take our lives. So ideally, you bring him out, take 2 lives, next turn your opponent attacks it, or you kill it yourself, and then you take 2 more lives, and you're able to awaken turn 2. This guy's only here for awakening purposes. You have to awaken turn 2 with this deck to fully utilize the deck at its maximum potential. So how are you going to remove this Broly if your opponent doesn't attack it? Well, we have one of the boss cards of the deck, which is Super Saiyan Bardock Paternal Unison, which we are running 4 of in the deck, because this card is a card you need to have turn 2. Turn 2, you have to play this card. And if you don't, then you just want to take hits from your opponent's attacks to your leader so you could awaken. This card allows you to remove one of your 1-cost battle cards on the field and place it in the drop area to force a discard on your opponent, which is pretty good. But that right there is key with Broly because it allows you to self-awaken. And that right there is honestly why you want this guy turn 2. Then he has an auto which makes him pretty nuts that once per turn you're able to kill one of your opponent's combo cards, stopping them from surviving your onslaught of attacks. So this guy is insane. Then he has an activate main -3. You can remove 3 markers and give this guy a 5k boost triple attack, allowing you to pressure and go for game as well. This guy is just insanely powerful. One of the best unisons for this green deck, for sure, without a doubt. And then another combo piece that I like to do is Dyspo, which we are running 4 of as well. This Dyspo, if it's in the drop area and you have no battle cards in your battle area, you're able to send this guy from the warp and then be able to bring out a 1-cost battle card from your drop. Who are you going to bring out? Well, you could definitely bring out Broly. And then Broly has his skills negated because of Dyspo, so when you kill it with your Bardock's ability, you will not have to take a life from Broly's auto, which is awesome. And then you can attack with Broly, dump your hand, and attack with your leader, regenerate your hand. So this 1-drop Broly is being utilized a lot. More than expected. Trust me, once you get your hands wet in this deck, it's a winner. Then, obviously, for some more hand destruction, we are running 4 Zarbons. So Zarbon is key in this deck because you're able to discard this card, discard 1 green card from your hand, and then pay 1 green energy to bring this guy from the drop onto the field. And then he's a blocker. Not only that, he has an auto. If this guy is removed from the battle area and your opponent has 5 or more cards, they have to discard a card. Zarbon combined with Broly Leader's ability to KO one of your battle cards and KO one of your opponent's battle cards equals killing one of your opponent's cards plus discarding one of your opponent's cards with your leader's ability. Insane. And combine Zarbon with Dormant Potential Unleashed, which is one of the best counters for the green, that if you have a unison on field, you don't even have to pay the energy. When you activate this card, you can discard 1 green card from your hand, and this deck is predominantly all green. Your opponent can only do 1 more attack for the duration of the turn. So what you do is you Dormant Potential Unleash, and then you activate your blocker Zarbon, so they only have 1 more attack, and you block that attack, and they discard because Zarbon got killed most likely, and then your opponent's just having to end his turn. That is crazy. Then on top of that, why not talk about the super combo? You want to awaken turn 2, so this guy's active turn 2, draw 2, 10k boost, warp 1 from your hand after your draw. This is the best super combo for the green, period. Hit it up in the comments if you agree or disagree. Then, more hand destruction. It's not utilized too much, but if your opponent is suffering from low hand, late game, a well-placed Ribrianne Punishing Passion could discard that hand and allow you to push for game with your unison or your leader or any of your other cards on the field. This card is actually really good, and sometimes you might not have any card you could actually bring out onto the field, so why not just discard 2 cards from their hand, slowing them down a bit. Then, talking about hand destruction, I am also running Cell's Earth Shattering Kamehameha over here, which is an extra card that you could use during the battle, and you get a 15k boost. On top of that, if all your energy is green, you could discard 1 card from your opponent's hand and you get to choose, which is awesome to steal that card that could have saved them late game. And then combine this card with Further and Destructive Champa, not only are they discarding a card, they're taking a double strike, allowing you to go for game if they're at 2 lives. And whenever your opponent's at 2 lives, drop one of these and you could win. Or if your opponent's at 2 lives, you could also use this guy right here, which is Dodoria, the Cold-Blooded, which we are only running 2 of in the deck. Sorry about that. We're running 2 of these in the deck because late game, you might have energy inactive, attack, take a life, 10k boost, double strike, and then maybe if you want, you could combo Cell's Earth Destroying Kamehameha to give this Dodoria a finishing push and a discard with the Cell. And then we're running Shocking Death Ball, which is just a negate. This Shocking Death Ball negate that also KOs a 2 cost or less on your opponent's side is key to use when you use Dormant Potential Unleashed, because if you use Shocking Death Ball and Dormant Potential Unleashed, your opponent's pretty much stuck and they won't be able to attack anymore for the duration of the turn. Combine that with a Zarbon blocker and you're just doing non-stop damage. And then let's talk about one of the spiciest unisons and new additions to my Broly deck that's actually really good in this deck is Dark Broly Overwhelming Evil. This card is a double strike 20k body on field that can continuously pressure your opponent, and this guy is very hard to remove because he has an auto that when a marker is removed from this Broly card, they have to discard 1 card from their hand, which is awesome. So that means your opponent's most likely not gonna attack this Broly. Then they have to deal with a 20k double strike every single turn. That's not it yet. He has 2 activate mains. One allows you to add 2 markers to this card. Then you may choose 1 card in your hand, discard it, and your opponent has to discard 1 as well, which doesn't really hinder you because you got your leader that's just gonna regenerate back your hand. So that doesn't really hit you at all. And then you could choose, no, your opponent chooses one of their battle cards and they have to KO it as well. So this guy's a board removing double strike 20k discarding monster, which he could also remove markers from your opponent's unison if you activate the 0 activate main. This guy is just insane. 3 energies, you want to bring this guy out after your Bardock ultimately dies because Bardock's always a target. From what I've noticed, they want to get rid of him fast. Then we got Android 18 Perfection's Prey. Shout out to Superboy for adding this card into the deck. This card is here as a pseudo combo, which means it's just another 10k boost combo that you can use in the deck, because if your hand is at 5 or less, you could combo this card without paying its energy, and it's also green, so you could discard it for Dormant Potential Unleashed, you could discard it for Zarbon, you could discard it for a lot of different purposes, not only comboing. Awesome card right here to go for game and push. Then, since we have Unison in the deck, I went with Frieza Charismatic Villain, which we are running 4 in the deck. We are running 4 of these because this Frieza Charismatic Villain is a counter play if your opponent plays a battle card. If you have a Unison on the field, which you should at all times, you're able to bring this guy out for free, and then this card KOs one of your opponent's battle cards and you get to choose. And then next turn, you're able to activate your Broly's ability to KO one of your cards. You could KO the Frieza and then KO one of theirs. Awesome right there, just pure awesome. And then obviously we are running 4 Master Roshis because this card works from the drop area. You could send this card from the drop to the warp by paying 1 green energy, and then you're able to choose 1 green extra card from the drop back to your hand, and you could get Dormant Potential Unleashed to just continuously stop your opponent from killing you, and then you're regenerating your hand. They're not. They have to combo out of cards, and you're gonna ultimately win the game like that. To be honest, that's really in a nutshell how you win. And then we got the 1-drop Sun Gohan, which I added into the deck. I'm gonna put it over here. The 1-drop Sun Gohan, which honestly is really good in this deck. It comes out for free onto the field if you have a Unison with 2 specific markers on it, which should be the Bardock over here. And then guess what? You're able to bring it out, and then you can also just KO it and then force a discard with your Bardock's ability. And then you can also bring it back with Hasty Dispatch Dyspo for a free blocker on the field. There's so many actual useful plays, and then combine this blocker with a Dormant Potential Unleashed, and you are surviving that turn. And last but not least, this is a little controversial. I'm not sure if I want to keep it at 4. I might just drop it down to 3, but I'm going to end up saying 4 for now because it's actually been useful to search out Bardock. And obviously the super combo, it searches out the top 5 for a Frieza's army 4 cost or less, and you're able to get yourself, like I said, the super combo, the Zarbon blocker, the Bardock unison. It has some use, okay? And it's also another 1-drop that you could just KO for Bardock's ability to discard and ramp up in markers. And last but not least, the last card I'm going to be talking about in this deck profile is this Bardock. And this card is just an amazing card. Combine this card with Dormant Potential Unleashed. You stop your opponent from doing any additional attacks. If the last attack they're doing for the turn is some big boss card that has barrier and is going for game, and you don't have a negate or a blocker, guess what? 1 energy, you could just pop that card by activating this guy's auto. Or he has an activate main, you can bring him out for 5 energies, and he's a triple strike dual attack 40k to pressure and go for game with as well. And that is my first place winning Broly deck profile. Hopefully you guys liked the video. Subscribe if you are new here, and stay tuned for more super content. I got the remix of the Double Strike Crit song coming out with La H, so expect that very soon. And like we always say, y'all stay super.